സെമിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ എന്നെ ക്ഷണിച്ച പിറ്റ്സയ്ക്ക് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഞാൻ നന്ദി പറയുകയാണ്. ഒരു വലിയ പ്രഭാഷണത്തിന് ഞാൻ മുതിരുന്നില്ല. പറ്റുമെങ്കിൽ 2 ഭാഷയിൽ സംസാരിക്കാനാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, കുറച്ചുകൂടി എളുപ്പത്തിൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി. സോ ഈ ഒരു the concept of becoming like the unity between Muslims and Dalits, it's a way back long, it has a long history in this country, where when the two oppressive groups come together and discuss and think about something which can be done to the future, which can yield in both social and political ways. I think the question itself and the discussion itself has its importance, where now I stand in front of you all is the one example which we has envisaged long back in 1993. I will start with my friend Vimla Rohit Chakravarti, who left us on 17th January 2016, saying the value of man is reduced into his immediate identity. The question of identity itself is the point where we should start the discussion, I believe. Because when we look back into the social boycott happened in the University of Hyderabad on 2015 August, it came out in the context where Ambedkar Students Association made a protest gathering against the capital punishment as such. In the context where Yaqub Memon was penalized to death. The argument which the right-wing forces of the students' organization called Akhila Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad of RSS and BJP, they made a post in the Facebook that ASA goons are talking about hooliganism, which provoked the Ambedkar Students Association students, and we went there and asked the question, this act of calling Dalits as goons. From the conflict starts. Because the question itself, the social boycott came in 2015 in a campus like University of Hyderabad, where a Dalit organization is working for last 24 years. I think when we talk about Dalit-Muslim unity itself, it can be an example which can be followed, which can be a model, which it can be followed in this country. Because when the organization which I represent started in 1993 in the context of Karamchodu and Chunduru in 1988 and 1991, the Dalit massacres happened in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The cruel massacres which evoked the minds of Dalits. The Dalits used to form a kind of organization for Dalits, which can be a helping hand for Dalits in the campus. When we decided to engage in this electoral politics in 2006, there was no such organization called SFI, which is very prominent in this Kerala. In 2011, when we decided to go for election with alliance with SFI, we could make possible a Dalit to become the president of a central university for the first time. I think it will be in the history of India, a Dalit becoming a president of the university was possible or done by ASA through Alliance of SFI in 2011, which no one talks about, no media talk about, no magazine talk about, no one calls us for interview even, which we should also discuss, I believe. In 2014-15, it is the, I think it is the major, we can call a milestone in the history of the country itself, where Dalit, Muslims, and all minorities came together and made an alliance without right and left. That was the motto itself. Without right and left. It was United Democratic Alliance which came into power in 2014-15 in University of Hyderabad. It is the history which we made a place where the secular liberals who always talk about neo-liberal policies and capitalism, but they don't talk about caste and caste atrocity and Brahmanism. So I think mapping down the question of Dalit-Muslim unity, when we look into the possibilities of Dalit-Muslim unity itself, I think when we compare how an alliance can happen in the context of Kerala itself, the people around us will question very randomly also how it is possible, in what context we can be aligned through, or how it is possible to have alliance with Muslims, because they are the others for the Dalits and vice versa. For Muslims, Dalits are others. For Dalits, Muslims are others. Because it's my experience also being in Kerala for more than 26, 27 years, and staying in Kerala, engaging with this politics, engaging with the day-to-day affairs of Dalits and Muslims. The politics we talk about, when we envisage about, has to be, we should explore more what the possibilities of having alliance, because the question of caste itself inside both religion, the caste in Islam and caste in Hinduism, and the class in Islam and class in Hinduism, and class in Dalits and Muslims, which always made a dilemma in engaging today politics of Muslims and Dalits. Because plainly we always said all Muslims are upper class Muslims. It's a common usage among all kind of discussions and narratives. A plain statement of framing all Muslims as upper caste and upper class, which somewhere we always also accept, somewhere true also, with experience in the context of Kerala when we speak. But when it comes to the context of other states, including Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, even Kashmir, there were smaller movements after the demolition of Babri Masjid, the post-Babri itself, and the post-Mandal. I think a collective action is possible through more deliberations and more engagements, both theoretically and empirically. Because as I come from a university, a public research university, where my worries are always with the university, because it is going to be not a good time to be a public research university in the coming days. As Advocate Prakash Ambedkar was mentioning about the emerging right-wing forces and the saffronizations happening across the country, I would add one more thing into that, The format of the sovereignization and these right-wing forces has changed because it has become a force, like Ambedkar told, the enemy is both capitalism and Brahmanism. The time has reached where we could not even separate capitalism and Brahmanism. The mixed forms of both has came to existence. It's in front of us in other formats. Like the coming days, I think the agenda of BJP itself is close down all kind of public research universities and start more private universities. As a first step, I think University of Hyderabad will be the first laboratory for that, because the current Vice Chancellor, Mr. Apparao, has proposed a new idea to short down the MPhil PhD seats. That means they are going to count all cancelled, deregistered, submitted, not submitted students as regular roll students. That means there won't be any seat in the coming academic year, 18-19, which is going to make a drastic change in the entire political discourse itself. So the time has come where we should focus more collectively to understand and engage with the day-to-day affairs of the possibilities of having an alliance or unity. I think this seminar will be a good enough possibility to have a larger visions and convictions for the upcoming alliances and upcoming politics, because there are sessions where we talk about other minorities also. So I think, and I'm very glad to be here for this seminar, and I thank the organizers of PITSA, and I thank everyone for being patient to hear me. Thank you, and JP.